clear, obviously, we're in a period of a deflationary period. There's every indication that we're going to be in this for a while. When we come out of it, with all the money that is being spent, are we in danger of some type of hyperinflation?
It's not necessarily a danger. Basically, the worry is that all this lending capacity, all this money, all of a sudden starts getting converted into purchasing power. The problem is we've given all the money to the banks. The banks could use it for lending, but given the uncertainty, have chosen not to. Now, you can imagine a sudden change in sentiment, and they say, look, we can lend this money and make much more money than we are now, and they start lending it, and the economy gets overheated. Possible, not likely. This is going to be a long and deep downturn. If it happens, the Fed can very easily tighten. The real risk here is, in my mind, not hyperinflation. The real risk is that the Fed, scared about the possibility of hyperinflation, steps on the brake too hard. Just as we're recovering, anxiety builds up that we're going to zoom past the capacity level and inflation will take off, starts taking money out of the system, and we go into another downturn.
And one final question, because this was a fear that a lot of people had talked about over the past couple of years, that all our nation's debt holders, China holds a lot of our currency, that they would begin to dump it. My sense is that because the rest of the world is in such bad shape, that in some ways the silver lining, I guess, is that our currency is somehow protected. Is that the case?
I think you're basically right. I can tell you, because I've talked to many people in the countries that hold our large amounts of our reserves, is that there is a growing anxiety. They've seen the balance sheet of the Fed blow up. They've seen the money creation. They've seen the debt accumulation. There is a worry. The U.S. dollar used to be viewed as a sound currency, a good store of value. Most countries realize that's no longer true. The dollar has gone down. It is unstable. That's the basic fact. It's unstable. So, as you say, the good news is the bad news everywhere else. Where that is going is that people say we need to diversify. People used to hold the dollar as the reserve currency. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to say, no, it's not the reserve currency. We don't know who's going to be doing well in the next 3 years and who's going to be doing poorly. So the best course of action is to have some in the euro, some in the dollar, some in the yen. And if China decided to make its currency more convertible, more in yuan. Mm. So the dollar is going to lose its role as the reserve currency. And what that means is over the long term, which doesn't mean necessarily in the next year or two, over the long term, the value of the dollar will erode as people, whenever the dollar gets a little bit strong, people will say, now is a good time to sell my dollars. Right. And this is an important aspect of the beginning of the realignment of global economic power.
Well, we're going to have to save that topic for another day. Professor Stiglitz, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.